we've seen clock choke before. Clock chokes are a very classic video game choke, and it's a great example, actually, of evolution of a move, and the idea of how a move evolves on the ground. Now what happens with moves is this. You get a great move, right, an initial idea. Someone woke up one morning and went, De La Riva guard. You know, they woke up one morning, they didn't wake up one morning and go, here's my 28 De La Riva guard techniques, and there's my DVD set. They didn't do that. They woke up one day with one move that they tried, and probably it worked. It probably worked right away, because if it failed and failed and failed, they wouldn't have kept going, right? So usually an idea is most robust in the beginning. And then later on it evolves, counters to counters, and ends up becoming kind of flimsy. Not so much flimsy, but very over-specialized, right? So usually the first idea is good. But then I come on the mat and I do it to you every night this month. So if I do it to you all the time, you're going to end up countering it. You're going to go, bugger that. When I start doing it, you recognize what it is, so you start to turn this way. But if I haven't done it on him as much, it'll still work on him and him and him and him. It just doesn't work on you because I've accidentally or whatever, or you're my training partner, so I've done it on you more. So you start to come up with a way that messes it up. So I reluctantly have to come up with an evolution of the move that's going to beat your counter. Right? But I don't have to worry about that for you guys, it still works. But over time, you'll figure out what he does, you'll start doing it, and then I evolve it. So I evolve a counter for you. But guess what you do? Because you're my training partner. You evolve another counter. And then we end up here in the end doing the last version of the clock choke. Now in the World Championships, I come along, I meet you or some other guy who's been through that whole process too. My basic clock choke not going to work. I do the counter to the counter. You do the counter to the counter to the counter. And one of us wins. And then someone videos it. Kim puts it on YouTube. You all watch it and go, holy shit, he used it in the finals of the World Championship. It must be the shit. That's the thing I've got to do now. So everyone does that without having done the whole process that him and I went through. I was the virus, he countered it, I evolved, he countered it, I killed him. Right? So that's what everyone needs to do with these moves. The first idea works best. In my experience, always, the first idea is the best one, the strongest one. Here's clock. I'm going to put this hand in, look, see, right in there, thumb inside, right across the collar there, okay? Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to pump my wrist into Darren's neck. Naturally, his neck wants to jump away from that, right? So he doesn't like it, so see he's lifting his head away. So I've got to get Pat to sit on his head while I do it, then it would choke his neck. Yep? But I haven't got Pat yet. So the easiest way to kill his head is this is the original clock. Elbow on the ground here. Elbow on the ground. Where's my weight now? Someone's on my elbow, someone's on this foot, someone's on this knee, and quite a bit of it is there, on that shoulder there, on this table there. That's what I've got to get rid of. That's the hard part. Hand, elbow, now watch. I move my feet that way, I get my hip down. You see where's my weight now? A lot of it. On his neck. And now I kick my wrist and walk to the front. Now it's called clock because he should be asleep before midnight, before I get there, all right? But if you do the clock really well, he'll be asleep before 2 o'clock. Well, it should be that side, but I like to do it this side. Okay, so here, elbow, what am I going to do now? Walk to the street and get my weight off his shoulder onto his neck. And now I start to walk around and I kick my wrist. I do this to him every night for 2 months. What's going to happen, he's going to end up going, oh, a clock, forget that, he's going to turn like that. Right, that's what's going to happen. So I've got to find a way to stop that. So my left hand goes under on his arm and keeps his elbow over there by straightening my arm toward Pat. Because that way he can't do this. Now I get the choke. So that's cool, but that comes with a problem. it's not so obvious as to how I kill his head. Because if I just start walking my feet, his head can still lift up. So you see, every evolution, here's what you've got to get. If you get this for this, you'll get it for every other move. Every evolution of a technique comes with a price tag. It comes with a price tag. The first one was great because I didn't even have to understand how it worked, and it will work. But you can't do this version without understanding the mechanics of why it's working. Otherwise, what people do is they do this, then they lift their head up, and then they wonder why the clock doesn't work. You get it? So there's a price tag. So I go 1, 2. Now I slide off the front, smash his face in the ground with my chest, and then I walk. He taps. Got it? So that's how it goes. Now, the problem with that is after a while, he's going to roll over that one. Because one of the problems with my hand going on over there, he can do, if he's really good, some wrist rolls and sort of stuff. So there, now, instead of this hand going here, just sit up here, it's going to come under his arm and grab the other lapel like that, right next to this one. So if he doesn't do anything, I can kill his head and then walk forward and pull my wrist and make him tap in normal clock phase. Okay? Now why this? Because now when he rolls or wherever he goes, I'm never going to let that go. I'm going to chase him down, and we call that the clock choke chase. Right, so you've got the history of it. First one is my elbow goes over, I lean forward. We'll just do that 2 or 3 times each. Okay, then we'll do the second one where I kill his arm and slide off his head to smash his face down. I've got to put his face on the ground for every clock. I've got to smash his face on the ground for every clock, so I can't lift up. That's what you've got to do. Now the first one's easy because it'll work, but then all the other ones you have to actually do that. You've got to take the weight from somewhere here and put it all there. All right. So now another one I used to do, by the way, is this. I used to do this, switch my base and grab my leg like a headlock. That also, it's quick. If you do it quick, it keeps him from turning. All right, so I'm not going to do that now, but just remember that for anyone who likes headlock control, that's a really good version of it. You go back to the original one, you're here, and then you just jump and grab your leg. And then you can do the same thing. So basically what that's doing effectively is raising the floor up the height of your leg. So you don't have to go down so much because we've raised the floor. Okay? Okay, now the next one here is this. See up there. See, I'm going to grab here. Not down here, right next to the other hand, like that. So here, here. Now what would I do? What's the first thing I'm going to do? Tell me, to do the clock. Bang! Smash his face, which means you're putting your head down there. Then what do I do? Yeah, because I see my left hip is on his shoulder. I want to get it off his shoulder. Oh, see from here, I'm going loose with my hands for his neck. But I get off his shoulder on his head. Get up there, onto here. And then what? Wrist, and then what? Walk my feet. Okay, so once you get the principles, it's cool, right? But you've got to understand them. Just do it really, like I was trying to hold you loose, but don't go too deep or they'll pass out before I stop speaking. All right? We'll do that, and then we're ready to do what you want to do. Is that you want to do the start of the idea, like how it started, what went on, what's the first thing you do, second thing you do, you know, instead of going just to, oh, the Berimbolo suite. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 branches down the tree. You know, so to start with that is, to me, it's not ideal. I'm not going to say it's nuts, but it's nuts because you might just find all that basic first idea is going to work against nearly everybody, you know, and so that's important to understand how it goes there. And then also, then you're equipped to apply your creativity and intelligence, and you might come up with even better solutions and interesting little tweaks on things because you've got the whole thing from the beginning, right? You don't just come in at the end and learn some idea. That if you do that, it's like a trick instead of a skill. It's better to have the skill because then you can develop a lot of tricks, okay? Rather than just a trick It's only good for that exact situation. Okay, done. So, all right. So here, when I do this, I'm scared to put this hand in here until I get my, once I get my grips, I'm okay. So I don't want to put my weight there. We're going to put our weight on here, on this shoulder, off there, and onto there. Because if I put my weight here, he can roll me really easily. Look, and I'm going to fly. But now he roll me over there. Look at my feet, look. So I don't want to hurt him, but look at my feet. Do it again, roll me. You know, planking, that. So when you, because this lever is trying to rotate like that, so you want to jump on the end of the seesaw right here. You don't want to be in the middle, right? Imagine on a seesaw and you're up near the spine's the middle and his shoulders is the seesaw. So if you're sitting there and someone even lighter than you jumps on the end of that one, you're going to fly over there. So you always want to go right there. And then I don't care if he rolls me. Actually, he probably won't roll me. I'll squash him. What will happen is this. You'll see I put my weight. You can't see it, but I put my weight there. Now I get the grip, but now he rolls me. And I'll go, no, and then he'll give up and come back up. And at that point, you're clocking. You see how it works? So you'll put your hand in, he'll try to roll you, your weight will be there, he'll go, he'll give up, he'll come back up, and at that moment, as he's coming back up, you do the clock that we just did there. Okay, so we all know all that? Right, now we can start. So we do all that, my weight's there, but Darren rolls me over. Okay? So the first thing here is this. Right, if I'm here like this, I'm going to move around, so I put my head from here to this shoulder. From here to this shoulder. If you do that, it won't require flexibility to get his arm. If you're here, it's going to require some flexibility, which is fine for some of you, but not fine for others. Okay, so I move around the corner, then I stomp his chest and pull his arm. Okay, now I pull him onto my body and pull my right elbow directly to the floor. So we're not going to change our grips. All we're going to do is change our body position. So now we could call it whatever you want, but I call it crucifix clock. So the first one was just the clock. Now we're going to do the crucifix clock, and it's going to keep changing. But some parts of our body are going to change, and other parts are going to stay the same. We're going to do rat's head, ox's neck. All right. So now I need that space. He's going to roll. We go over there. He arches up. Back take. If his butt comes off the ground, back take. Now from here, look how we're going to choke. Not like pulling our arms like this. Okay? Watch. Elbow to the ground. Yep. Now, I get up on my right elbow and look in his ear. Then I do the chest thing. Okay. So when you take his back, you pull your elbow to the ground, you get up on your elbow, on your forearm. Give him an ear exam. Let's go. He arches up, we get his back, we go here, we do it. It's not working. If it's not working, it's probably because my grips look a little loose. In the movement, they loosened, or you got hold of my hands, or whatever the hell, but I'm not able to choke him there. Okay, watch. Yeah, good idea. See my left foot here, other foot on the ground, like this. Pull him up, suck the other one out, bring my knee to my elbow, go to side mount. Yep. And now we've got what? Bow and arrow. Now I'm going to loosen right up, but it's my legs are able to take the slack out of the choke. You see? So we're going to do the bow and arrow. Alright, so there's a few steps to doing it. Yeah, I'm going to crack the grip. Go down, try it, not working. Lay back down. Foot off. The top foot pulls him up to suck the other foot out. Mount on the floor, right knee to my right elbow. Now, from here, move your foot away. See my foot going away from Darren? Away. So that when I sit down, there was a space for my butt to go. And then put this foot next to my right wrist, and cross the feet, and then you stretch your legs. You won't need to stretch your legs much. Levers, shoulder lever, right? He turns that way. The main levers you're going to get pressure on, meaning to control him, is the shoulders and either side of the face. So if he tries to turn toward me now, right? He tries to turn away, right? He tries to lift up toward me now, and tries to go away. Right, so that's the main point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then later on, of course, there's the hips, and then there's the knees, and there's the elbows, and there's the fingers, there's the push-pull, tempo concept. But the main ones is going to be those there. All right. So now, the less obvious levers are ribs. Think about the spine. The spine's down there, and the ribs, like imagine the skeleton hanging off there. So I can turn him by putting weight on these ribs over here. Look, he turned this way. And I put the weight over here. So where your elbow is going to go, this side or this side, you're going to get him turning slightly. Because they are, you compress this, that's going to come up. So I want you to think a little bit about your elbow. So if we're going to get the choke in, which way would I want to go? I would like to be on these ribs over here. It's going to open up that gap. And instead of going around the corner, it's more of a straight shot, and you're going to get a deeper grip. So that's the only thing now. We're not being as, what's the word, meticulous, I don't know what the right word is, but we're not being as exacting as we could be with where our elbow pressure is. We're kind of just putting it there. So putting it there is okay, but you might want to do it here. Now for the choke, I want it on here this side. All right, anyway, got that? Good. Now, we're going to be here, and I'm like this. I'm going to choke, my elbow's down. I choke him, I take my leg back, he brings his arm in to defend the choke. That's how you get the armbar. I don't know what your experience was, but the first thing I learnt from the knee ride was the near armbar from knee ride. But I didn't apply it much. I don't know how many years went by. I got a lot of far arm bars. Because they put their hand on your knee and you grab it and spin around. So I got lots of them. But even this one was weird because in theory it's simpler, it's closer, it's quicker, but I couldn't get the notches on my belt. Every now and again, sure, some peanut doing that. But mostly not, because I had the arm, I got to throw all he had to do was that, and he beat me. So anyone who'd been armbarred more than 5 times there, you could never get that arm. When I learned this, that's 90% of how I would finish there now. 90%. Because when I'm like that, I got this all here, and I'm choking here, and his hand comes in. I just step over. This keeps the collar. He tries to run away or go or don't do anything. But see, look, now move. See, look. Because I got his collar. I'm pulling him to me, and then the other hand work with the arm. And now look how much freer you feel. Darren. See? Now, if he escapes and moves now, okay, all the other way. Yeah, but you see he had to rotate, but that's really difficult. And I got this, and I'm going like this. Now move this. See, start. Get his arm. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. Boring, near arm from near right. Here I am here. I choke him. He brings his hand in. It's not working so well. Go to there. Legs are back, pressing my chest against his back. So and when you're doing pressure with the elbows, his body's going to curve. His foot wants to come here, from there to there, curve his body. Work pressure. Okay. From the pressure here, my legs back there, sit up grip. Now, I don't want to stay here in this angle, like this angle. So I'm going to go from this angle to that angle, like I'm going to run that way. Because I'm going to run that way. All right, so I don't want to be here and fall back. So I'm going to be here like this. And you might notice that my seatbelt grip come down here a little bit. I accidentally got his arm. So he defends his neck. I accidentally. Now he's got no arm. No arm and no arm. Now I can get in here. We're all back control. So, you know, I can just get a back control by just going back here and trying to get it. Seatbelt grip, turn the corner, step over, and do, with very little extra effort, get the bonus of his arm. Now it's 2 hands versus 1. So now he starts to defend. It's easy to kill that one. Start to work. Whatever attack you want to do. All right, so just by doing little things, taking the time to do a little bit of preparation before you do it can make a big difference. It should be interesting to do that. I would like you to think of it like this. So you might want to, if you agree, that is, that you didn't know some of those little points about something that you were quite familiar with. You know, there was nothing, you know, side control, choke, armbar, was all very, and back choke. It's all stuff that we're all very aware of. But hopefully you got 1 or 2 little points out of it. So that should make you think, logically, that, hey, maybe it's the same for everything I know. That would be, right, interesting and nice to be able to go back and say, well, hang on, gee, what about basic sweep? I wonder if basic sweep, he said the same thing. Show me your basic sweep. Then he went, and it was wrong. Not wrong, but not as good as it could be, right? My basic sweep, like this, scissor sweep. You know scissor sweep, like Master Ken, scissor sweep. Here, okay, you pull, now you get the collar. Like that. See what I did? I walk around the corner. Now I can pull him to the side. Because if I'm here, my hand can't pull him to the side, it's only my foot and he's too big for that. But when I'm here, I pull him to the direction I want to go. See, for example? So it's interesting, right, that, you know, everything can be made better. And to wake up and know that that's a possibility makes for a much more exciting day than I know it. That's not a way to live. Boredom's the worst thing. I'd rather be anything but that. Okay? Got it? Is that okay? It's Pat's fault. So if you don't like it, then blame Pat. Next time I'll teach you something shiny. All right? That'll do. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.